Okay. Video 19. Hello, hello, hello. So, diet is still fantastic, I must say. Um, Not much to say about that other than it's going great. Oh, yeah. Not much to say, period. But I was thinking today about where I should take these kinds of videos. I mean, there are about a million different avenues that you can take with video. So it's ultimately up to me, obviously. Uh, I'm not really sure where I'm going to take it yet, but I was thinking today also, while I do think the whole culture war thing is important, it's not of my interest. I don't give a shit about the culture war or what happens in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I do, but I don't, right? I do, but I don't. But it got me thinking, there is a war that I do care about, and it's the war that is within the church. So, to me, there's plenty of people out there who want to revolutionize the culture, and they're actively involved in the culture war. And just like in the movie V for Vendetta that I watched recently, I do truly believe this, that the power that will overthrow the culture and win out in the end lies in the power of anonymity. And I think that's already been proven to be the case. If you've been paying attention even for the past year, it's what's gonna change the culture. Anyway, that's not really what I care about. I don't really have any interest in joining that brigade. It interests me, but I would never line up as a soldier, if that makes sense. But I'd certainly watch the fights. It'd be fun. My battle lies elsewhere, lies within the church. And to me, you need to have a face to fight in that battle. I don't think the changing of the church isn't going to happen by anonymous forces. The anonymous forces will influence it, but it won't be the sole engine, if you will. That being said, I do believe that I am going to make videos about what's wrong with the church and when I say church, I mean the just Presbyterian Christian church. What needs to change, and things that we can look towards in order to bring these about. So, in the short amount of I wouldn't even call it study. I guess I'll call it study. In the short amount of study that I've done, I know a lot of people will throw shit at Martin Luther, but it's a little too far back, and it wasn't it wasn't the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Though it may have created the coffin. I don't know, that's debatable, highly debatable. But I can see why people think that. To me, pretty much all of modern problems stem from late 18th century, or late 1800s, early 1900s. The evangelical era of that time has more or less paved the way for all of this shit that we see today. And it's paved a nice, beautiful golden, actually brown road. It's like a, like the, if you've ever seen, with, oh shit, what are they called? Cat5? Cat5 cables? The Ethernet cables, basically. And they have the copper ones that are solid copper on the inside, but they also have the ones that are steel-plated copper, and it's just a big pile of shit, But they work for internet and things like that. But obviously don't work for conducting electricity if that's what you need to do, but it's just, I don't know. I was screwing with that recently, so that's the metaphor that came to mind. But it's just, I don't know, it's just funny to me. It's like gold-plated jewelry. It's just like, look, it's pretty, I swear, and valuable, but it's just a piece of shit. Yeah, anyway. That's kind of what the evangelicals did to the church. Is have this nice, like, look, it's great, this is so pretty, but you can lift up the lid and it's like, oh look, a steaming pile of shit. That's nice. Anyway, I would, from what little I've learned and gleaned from that era, it's a lot of just like, God, it has led to a lot of bad things. And I would actually like to sort of write an outline, and that's another thing I've been thinking about with these videos. I've done these freestyles, I'm used to it now, and it's not a challenge anymore. I could do better, I could have better speech, but I could improve the video in other ways while also improving speech and things like that. So that's kind of what I plan to do. I think, what's today, Wednesday? So, yeah, after Thanksgiving's over, I am, actually not Thanksgiving, but the day after Thanksgiving, because that's when I'm celebrating Thanksgiving with my crew. So Saturday, there's a couple more little odd jobs that I have on my table, and I think probably next week at some point, I'm going to make an outline, or Saturday this weekend, and I'm going to do the video next week. I'm going to make a little outline with little bullet points, and I'm going to try to have a little more of a sophisticated video with a little more fleshed out of an argument. I find with the way that my mind works, I have this very like jumbled dyslexic mind, and I don't know, I've learned how to adapt to it, and I've learned how to utilize it in ways that are good, that I would say maybe other people don't really have that same thing, that same strength, but they also don't have the same that weakness that also comes from it, which is just, it's hard for me to take something complex, even if I already know it, and like bullet point it on the fly. It's never been something that I'm good at. I need a visual, and I'm a very visual and hands-on kind of learner. I look kind of creepy, but whatever. So I'm gonna experiment with that. I'm gonna see how it goes. I think if I have bullet points, I'll be able to tie things together, and I'll hopefully be able to make some kind of coherent case for what's up here, because there's a lot up here, but the jumbledness of it all, without writing it down, it's hard. For me, anyways. Maybe it's hard for everyone, and it's just a skill that you have to develop. I presume that's the case, right? Like, to some degree, but I also do know that I'm jumbled as fuck as a human being, which is, deal with the cards you're dealt, right? So I'll be experimenting with that probably next week. I got a little space. My church is awesome. Actually, the leaders of my church are actually amazing people. So they were renting out this little shop, but because of all this COVID stuff, and also because there's the Broadway of my town is going under major construction. So both of these things hit at the same time. So now there's this big strip of the main street of the town that is just completely ripped up. And there were all these shops and all these stores that were just, as if COVID wasn't bad enough, man. These guys did not survive. There's precious little left in that whole strip. It runs about 3 or 4 blocks or something. Anyway, all this to say, one of the pastors of my church, there's 2 pastors there. One of them is semi-involved with the city as far as entrepreneurs and small businesses go. He is the president of a little club that represents the exact strip that's under construction right now, funny enough. So, because of his connection to that, he was able to talk to whatever entity. There's a certain arm of the city. I don't know what they are or what they do, but they apparently own several of the buildings on this strip. And the other pastor is, what would you call him? He's the kind of guy that just does things. Similar to me, he's a more sophisticated and more advanced version of me, where you just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. Anything's possible. It's going to work out somehow, and just tell me what to do and it's going to get done. That's his kind of attitude. So he stepped in and he actually got this city entity to give him a whole building for free. He doesn't own it. They're leasing it for free. But it's this whole building. It's a relatively big building. It's probably, I don't know. There's a bunch of different little smaller offices, and it's a 2-story. The whole lot itself is probably about half an acre, I would say. And it's mostly building and parking. So he got the whole thing for no cost at all, lease-wise. And the reason he was able to negotiate it was because apparently a bunch of homeless people were breaking into this building. So he stepped in and said, hey, if you let us stay there for free, we'll make sure no homeless people show up and ruin your fun. Oh, look. Look at that. I just noticed the Christmas lights. How lovely. My son was playing with those earlier. I forgot about that. I should probably unplug those. Anyway. That's something, just a little story. Take it how you will. You can make deals like that too. It's not difficult if you know what's going on. The government is actually really easy to negotiate with. I mean, they are and they aren't, right? The government is very weak. They're weak negotiators because they give in really easily, because they don't. So if you offer to do something for the government and they're in a pickle and you're good at selling your idea and it's something that, benefits them, even in a small way, even if it benefits you way more, like what he negotiated with these guys, let us stay for free and we'll make sure homeless people don't show up. Like, yeah, well, whatever. I mean, I guess there's no businesses there anyway, so what harm does it befall that city entity? He has a plan too. They have a plan that they actually want the city to give them that building. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. And they're expecting it for free, I think, too. It'd be amazing if they pulled that off. If he pulled that off, that's like, shit, man. You're next level. Anyway, all this to say, I was able to get the key to this building and its access to the whole building. So, I'm going to be having a little office space now. I mean, I can go there now, so that's cool. And I think whenever I start going there regularly, which I'd like to do, I'm going to possibly do more than just one video a day. I don't know. I'm gonna work on more than one video a day. I would like to keep this stream going for 100 days, but that doesn't mean that I can't do other videos in the meantime, if that makes sense. And I just want to play around with it to see what I can do. Yep. Anyway, that's probably about it. Yep. Have a good night, gentlemen.